All right, what up, people? Today I'm going to be discussing every game I've played in 2026 so far. It doesn't necessarily have to have come out this year, but just all of the games that I've played throughout 2026 so far, and I'm going to rank them all as well. Like, I'll give them a rating. All the ones that I've beat, at least, I'll give a rating. Now, I'm going to kind of go through my backlog a little bit as well and discuss what games I'm planning on playing coming up. Like, not ones that are upcoming, but more ones that are like in my backlog that I plan to get to at some point. So we'll start with that. So my backlog at the moment is pretty cluttered. I have 15 games in my backlog. Some of them I have started and put some hours into, but other ones I kind of haven't even got to yet. I just haven't got around to them. So let's start with Ghostwire Tokyo is a game I want to get to at some point. It looks really cool, and I definitely want to give it a shot at some point. Valiant Hearts is also one that's been in my backlog for a very long time now. It's kind of like an indie style game that I think looks really cool, and I just never got around to playing in the PS4 era. And then Eco is another one that's even older. I love Shadow of the Colossus. I love The Last Guardian, and this is kind of in the same vein. So I want to, get to the game that kind of started it all at some point as well, which is Eco. So I think it looks really cool. Kind of has that connection as well that you have in Last Guardian. And overall, I just wanted check that out at some point. I have heard the controls are fairly clunky, but I'd like to experience that game for myself at least once. And then Fahrenheit is another game. I think it's a Quantic Dream game, but it looks really cool, and I do love all of the Quantic Dream games that I have played. The next one is BioShock 2. So I've played BioShock, I've played BioShock Infinite. I played them quite a bit after release, and I loved both of them, but I just haven't got around to playing BioShock 2 at any point. I know it's not as beloved as Infinite and BioShock 1, but I still think it's fairly well liked, right? So I need to get to that at some point 100%. Now, those are the 5 games that are in my backlog that I haven't started yet. I have 10 in my backlog that I have played at least an hour of. One of them is Dying Light the Beast. Now, this game didn't really inherently hook me like some of the other Dying Light games did. Like, I love Dying Light 1. Even Dying Light 2 I really like as well. I think that those games are very well made, and Dying Light 1 had that je ne sais quoi, though. It had that sauce that made it really cool, and they just kind of got a little bit less and less interesting for me as time have gone on somehow. I don't know if that's due to the game or due to my taste or what, but either way, I don't know. Dying Light the Beast is a game that I'm not sure I will ever get back to, but it is in my backlog for now, in case I get bored on one rainy day. But the amount of games I have to play, this would probably be down near the bottom of ones that I would go back to soon, at least. One is Eric's Home. That's the next game that I'm going to talk about. Eric's Home, The Stolen Dream, I think it's called. I've played about an hour of this. It's kind of like isometric. It's not really top down, but it's really cool, and it looks unique and fun in the way that you play it. It's a stealth game. I really like stealth games. I'm playing through 007 First Light at the moment, going through the stealth sections and absolutely loving them, for as long as I can stay stealthy, that is. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved a bit of a stealth game. I've been terrible at them since I was a kid, but I still love attempting to be stealthy. In this game, I think it's like the perfect game that I would play on my Portal in bed, on my PS Portal in bed, or a Steam Deck game maybe, or something like that. I have it on PlayStation, so I would play it on my Portal in bed. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I was immediately hooked with the world and the characters and stuff. So I think I'm definitely going to get back to this at some point. And the next game we're going to talk about is Nier Automata. Now, this is a game that I've been told is awesome by a lot of people. I've played maybe 1.5 hours of this game, and I did really enjoy it. I think at the time I was playing a lot of other games, so I just didn't get back to it. But this is one that's staying in my backlog 100%, and I do want to get to it. I think there's 2 of them, and there's maybe a 3rd one coming as well of these Nier games, right? So definitely one I want to get to at some point. And it's very video gamey, it has these crazy sequences, and it changes kind of your perspective throughout the game to make it very video gamey in a fun way. But yeah, this is just a fun kind of defeating my backlog video, talking about all the games that we're playing right now and getting through. I think I'm playing 5. I have 15 in my backlog, and I've beat 7. So, it hasn't been that busy of a year, but at the same time, I've been playing quite a bit of multiplayer games, which I'll discuss later as well. But yeah, game number 9 on the backlog is God of War Sons of Sparta. I played 2 hours of this, and I mean, it was fun, but I don't know, I'm not completely sold on it. So I think I need to give it a little bit more time, because I know Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols was saying it does get better as time goes on. But I'm not like mad to come back to it, if you get me. But it's also one of those games where I could probably play that on the Portal, and I think that that would work really well. You know, not all games are going to work well when you're streaming them on the Portal, but that and Eric's Home are kind of two Portal style games, so that's why I still have it on my backlog, just in case. You know, I haven't really played the Portal much recently, but I think I need to get back into the swing of it, you know. So that one's there. And number 10, this is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now this is the one that I really want to get back to. I've played 12 hours of this game, so this is the one in my backlog that I've played the most of, along with the one after this as well. And I absolutely love it, and I really do. Like, this game is phenomenal. It's beautifully crafted. The world is incredible. The characters are incredible. The only thing I will say is that it's a game where you have to sink all of your time into it, and I'm playing too much other stuff right now to be able to dedicate the time that I need to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I am going to get to this game. 100% I'm going to get back to this game. But it's a game that's tough. It's grueling, it's brutal, and it's going to take 100 hours to beat probably. So that's why I'm holding back on it for now, but I will be getting back to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to delving my teeth back into this game as well. The one after this is Persona 4 Golden. So I've played 12 hours of this game as well. Now, I played it on Xbox, and I just stopped playing my Xbox, so that's why I kind of stopped playing Persona 4 Golden. I ended up playing Persona 3 Reload after this. I've played Persona 5 as well, Persona 5 Royal, so I do want to beat Persona 4 Golden. I've played about 12 hours of it. I have turned my Xbox on recently to play Forza Horizon 6, so maybe I can also get back to Persona 4 Golden, but not really on the cards for me right now, because it is one of those games. I think I played Persona 3 Reload on Steam Deck, and it was just the perfect game to play on the Steam Deck in bed, you know, so maybe I just need to bite the bullet, get it on Steam, play it on the deck, or maybe even on the Portal as well. I definitely want to get to Persona 4 Golden at some point again, because the Persona games are incredible, you know, they are. So I love Persona 3, I love Persona 5, so I think I need to beat Persona 4 as well, just to have said I beat all of them, you know. Next up is, we have 4 games left on this list that is my backlog, and then we'll get into the games I'm playing, as I said. Number 12 is Amazon the Explorer's Legacy. Now this is kind of like a bit of like, you know, a point-and-click adventure game. It's a remake of a game that came out way back in the day, and I didn't really know anything about that game. I just started playing this Amazon game and really enjoyed it, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. I've played about 3 hours of it. I think it's a relatively short game, maybe like 6-7 hours, so I'm maybe at the halfway point. I did drop it eventually, haven't got back to it, but I do wanna, because the story is intriguing, and the way that you kind of figure things out as you're going through the game is interesting as well. You kind of have to clue together bits of information, almost like detective style, and figure out what's going on in these different locations that you go to. You're kind of going across the world, basically. So yeah, it's a really cool, interesting experience, and I do want to get back to that one at some point. And as I said, it's not a super long game, so that's why it's still on the backlog. If this was a longer game, I probably would have dropped it off my backlog, but I do want to just, like, all of these games on my backlog, I want to beat them eventually. You know, if I keep a game on my backlog, it means I want to beat it eventually. So next one up is Samson. This game I played about 1 hour of on Steam. The game was a little bit buggy, so I think they're updating it as time goes on, and it's got quite a bit better. So I think once, like, they've got the best version of this Samson game, I will go back and play, because it was fun. It was a fun experience. It's not like this game is going to blow you away or anything, but it's a fun beat 'em up game, and that's kind of what I want to come back to and give it a shot, because I don't think it's that long of a game either. So yeah, it seems really fun. You know, that's just one of those kind of fun games that you can just clock out and boom boom boom. So yeah, I'll get to that one at some point again. Crimson Desert is up next, so this is the penultimate one I'm going to talk about in my backlog. I've played about 10 hours of Crimson Desert, and when I was playing Crimson Desert, I was like, you know what, this game is fun, and it's a little bit easier to pick up and play than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but it was just making me want to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 a little bit. And it's not the exact same style of game, but I just think I want to beat Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 before I can get into Crimson Desert fully. And I know Crimson Desert is another one of those games that's incredibly long, and, you know, you have to sink a lot of hours into. I think, yeah, 10 hours I put into it, and I was still early into the game, it felt like, you know. So it's a monster of a game. It's a big task to take on, and I will get to it someday, maybe. We'll see. And number 15 is Trail Out. I've played about 6 hours of this game. It's a racing game. One of the most chaotic racing games I have ever played in my life. It's like you bowl in this game with a person flying out of the window. You do motorbike races. You do bloody destruction derby style events. You do races where you have machine guns on the top of your car. I mean, the whole thing is just utter pandemonium, and the characters are hilarious. The storyline is absolutely bonkers. So it's just an overall fun racing game that you cannot take seriously in any capacity, but yeah, it's really fun nonetheless, and definitely a game that I could just pick up and play for an hour and put down and do a few races and put back down and come back to in a few weeks. Like, it's not a game where you have to really dedicate all your time, and that's why I'm keeping it in my backlog. I will come back to it periodically, I think, and just have a couple of fun races and then go onwards and upwards. So yeah, let's go into the games I'm playing. As I said, there's 5 games that I'm playing at this moment in time, and we're going to start with the one that I'm playing the most right now, and that is 007 First Light. So I've played 7 hours of 007 First Light. I imagine I'm probably 3/4 of the way through the game. I think I've completed 7 of the 10 chapters. So I mean, I'm pretty deep into the game now, and this game fucking rules, man. I absolutely love this game. It's kind of like Uncharted meets Hitman in the best way possible. Now, some of the set pieces are as insane as Uncharted, but I don't think it like does. Okay, so I'll say the story of it isn't as good as Uncharted, and the gameplay probably isn't as in-depth as Hitman. And this is something that Chris Raygun said that when I was watching Sacred Symbols, it doesn't do either of those things as good as Uncharted or Hitman, but the way that it blends together, it just really works, and it turns into this phenomenal game. And I think I prefer it to the Hitman games. I wouldn't say I prefer it to Uncharted 4 or anything. That's like my favorite game of all time. But I think it does everything it's trying to do really well. The storyline is fantastic, and they got me engaged in all of these characters that I didn't really expect to care about really quickly. Like, by doing that fucking awesome training montage at the start and kind of getting you involved with the other 00 characters, like Monroe and Cressida, and you form this bond with them as you go through the training with them, and you kind of really learn to care about these characters as you share a room with them as well. And yeah, I mean, they just do a phenomenal job with the storytelling in this game. The pacing of it is fantastic. The mission structure is absolutely brilliant. Like, some of the stuff you can do to get to your target, like, you can do it a lot of different ways, right? Like, you can run and gun through if you want, but a lot of the time it's beneficial to be stealthy and do things in a way where you're distracting a guard by setting off a Hoover and going up and just kind of sneaking past him as he's distracted, pickpocketing him, taking the key card that you need and getting into the room, you know. But you could go up and probably, you know, take him down and take the key that way, or you can start a massive gunfight a lot of the time if you want to. But as I said, beneficial to be stealthy a lot of the time, because the gunplay, like, it is difficult. They can overwhelm you pretty quickly, you know. And the hand-to-hand combat's really fun as well. Now, the gunplay isn't like spectacular or anything, but I think it's serviceable, and it works really well to kind of go with the stealth aspects of the game, because most of the time, as I said, you're trying to be stealthy. But yeah, overall, the game right now is kind of catapulting towards being my game of the year. And I think by the time I'm completed this game, I will be 100% sold on this being my game of the year, unless it falls off tremendously, which I'm pretty sure that it's not going to do. So 007 First Light is a big win for me. And yeah, I mean, all of the characters that they have you connect with throughout the game is fantastic. And I'm kind of getting to a point in the story now where you're kind of revealing all of these crazy secrets in the story as well. So yeah, awesome game. Looking forward to completing it over the next week or so. And yeah, that's all I have to say about 007 First Light. It's a big win for me, and I can't wait to play more of it. Next up, we're going to talk about another racing game. This is Forza Horizon 6. I've played about 5 hours of this game, and it's more Forza Horizon, you know, which is not a bad thing at all. It's awesome. The Forza Horizon games are incredible. It's bigger and better. It's got a great Japan setting, and yeah, I mean, I don't really care too much about the story of it. It's not really that engaging, but you know, the actual races and the kind of, you know, wristband events, which are the crazy showcases, they are very good. I raced against a massive mech. I uploaded a video of that on the channel, which was really fun. And overall, yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. It's more Forza Horizon, and it's great. All right, next up is Dispatch. So this is a game that I had my eye on since a lot of kind of YouTubers were playing it, and it looked really, really cool when it came out. And I never got around to it until a few weeks ago. I started it up and immediately fell in love with it. Like, the way that they're kind of doing this is prime Telltale. It feels like, you know, it's maybe not on the level of a Walking Dead or a Wolf Among Us, but it's not that far off, honestly. Like, the quality of it is fantastic, and you know, the kind of superhero style of this story works really, really well. And you're kind of like, I love the gameplay aspects as well, where you're kind of like dispatching this team, and it really works in between the story parts, you know. So a lot of the Telltale games didn't really have much in the way of gameplay, but this kind of adds another element to it, where you're going in there and you're having to make calls that will decide whether someone lives or dies, basically, in the world. And it's done in kind of a humorous way as well, but it's still really, really fun. And the serious parts of the story really get you. And, you know, the kind of romance options, choosing between Blonde Blazer and Invisigal, no spoilers or whatever, but those are going to be your two romance options, is really, really tough. Like, they make it tough for you to choose between those two, I think, personally at least. And I love both of them, and they offer very different kind of storylines and different paths for you to go down. But I'm kind of going with the Blonde Blazer approach at the moment, but I would love to replay it and go the other way and see how different it can be, you know. So this is a game where you can definitely do 2 playthroughs and have things go quite differently, which is obviously always the way in a Telltale game, you know. So but this one, they really, like, in some Telltale games, I'm like, there was only ever one choice, you know. With some of the choices they try to get you to make, I'm like, I don't really like that. I never would have gone with the other one, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a really phenomenal job of bringing back that episodic style and making this feel like a kind of really fun interactive TV show. And I think they've done it the best since Prime Telltale, at least. And I'm 7 episodes deep, so I literally have 1 episode left. I'm pretty much at the end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the storyline all pans out in the final episode and see what my decisions end up leading to. But overall, yeah, fantastic game, really strong characters, really fun way to do the gameplay interaction with the dispatching, as I said. And I think I would, as it stands right now, I would definitely be giving this game above an 8.5. And 007 First Light, I'm probably 9 or above as well at the moment. So just so you can kind of compare that to my scores once we get into the games I have beat in 2026 category. So yeah, Dispatch is awesome. 1 episode to go, and then I can add it to my games I beat in 2026 list, which will be the 8th game I beat in 2026, along with 007 First Light. I'll probably beat that Dispatch before 007 First Light because I have only 1 episode left. I might just even beat that tonight or something like that. So looking forward to seeing how that story ends. Yeah, let's move on to the 4th and penultimate game that I'm playing right now, Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm about 6 hours deep. I don't believe I have that much of I'm probably over halfway. I think the game is like under 10 hours long, so I'm pretty deep into the game now. I've just taken on the end or whatever, that old guy. I've just got past that part, which was really, really fun. And I think I had the fear before that. Like, the boss fights are absolutely camp and hilarious. I played the start of Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta last year, and I kind of got back into it now over the last few weeks, and I've been playing that again, and I definitely want to beat that in the next few weeks. I want to beat a good few more games than I did last year, because I feel like I kind of slacked off last year. Haven't been beating as many games on the Hound channel, so I kind of just slacked off beating them in general, and that's why my backlog has got so big now as well. But I want to commit to beating more games, and I do think playing more games like Metal Gear Solid Delta, 007 First Light, Dispatch really helps with that. Like, they're under 10 hours or under 12 hours at least, and it's not these big fucking 100-hour games that you're sinking your teeth into. I like those too. I like a good RPG that takes 100 hours to beat, but if you're trying to do that and then beat a lot of games in the year as well, it's very tough. But Metal Gear Solid Delta is the right amount of camp and fun, and I really haven't gone through that many Metal Gear games. I think this is going to be the first Metal Gear game that I ever beat, actually. So that's going to be interesting to see if that maybe piques my interest to check out some of the other Metal Gear games that are coming, because I know they're doing remakes and remasters for some of the older games as well. coming up. So yeah, I'll have to see if I do end up going down the Metal Gear Solid rabbit hole. Maybe I even do a few series on the channel for them. That could be fun. But Snake is awesome. The mind of Kojima is awesome. Let me just say that much. And the final game I'm playing, and I've been playing it for over a year probably at this point, it's a game that I just come to periodically, is Dave the Diver. It's a really fun game. I've played about 14 hours of this game on Steam Deck, and every time I'm in bed and I want to play a game, I'll just chuck on Dave the Diver and have a lot of fun with it. Now, there's a couple of other games on Steam Deck that I'm playing as well that are not like linear games that have a start and a finish, like Balatro I've played a lot of. Mega Bonk is one I've been playing recently, which is kind of like Vampire Survivor on steroids, but it's 3D. It's really, really fun. If you have any recommendations for me on games to check out or games that you'd like to see me play on the channel as well, guys, please do drop a like. Let me know in the comments down below as well what those recommendations would be. Dave the Diver is really fun. It's kind of a game that you don't really have to, like, you know, be in the 100% zone for. You can just go down and catch a couple fish and come back up and get to it again a little bit later down the line. But really an intriguing, fun, unique game, and I've been having a great time with it. So now let's go into all the games I beat in 2026. I'm going to go in order of when I finished them. So the first game I beat in 2026 out of the 7 was Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Now, this was obviously a replay. I played Uncharted back when it came out. I think I've played it again since then. So this was my 3rd full playthrough of Uncharted, maybe my 4th, I don't know. And I still think it holds up to this day. You know, it's definitely the weakest of the 4, 100%. It's there's no debating that for me. It's definitely the weakest of the 4. I would still give it an 8 out of 10 though. It still holds up enough, you know, but there's a lot more gunplay. The pacing of it isn't quite as good as the later games, in my opinion. So yeah, I would still give it an 8 just because it's the foundation of my favorite franchise ever, and it does set up the story of Uncharted really, really well. It introduces the characters of Nathan Drake, Elena, Sully really, really well, and you know, the humor of it always cracks me up as well. Like, I just think the characters in Uncharted are what make it, and that's why I love this franchise so much. So yeah, Uncharted Drake's Fortune is the first game I beat in 2026, and obviously not a game that came out in 2026. I think it came out in 2007, so a long time after the fact, but still really enjoyed it. The second game I beat this year is Sword of the Sea. So this is kind of like an indie style game. It's kind of akin to a Journey, you know, like a Journey or Flower, those games. I don't know if you guys have played those games. I really enjoyed both of them, and this one was no different. I did really enjoy it. It's kind of like you're just skating through the world, on the sands, on the water, finding different ways to get into these locked rooms and finding different ways to do tricks to get up to get all the coins and go onwards. But yeah, overall, really fun game. It only took me a couple of hours, I think, but still well worth a playthrough. You know, it was just really fun. It took me maybe 3 hours to beat, I would say. I like that. You know, you can just go in, just have fun and beat it in a couple of days, and that's what I did. I beat it in a couple of days. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was really enjoyable. I don't think it really had the emotional resonance of like a Journey, but still overall I think it was more fun to play. A lot of tricks that you could do, a lot of fun ways that you could get through the world. Overall, it was an enjoyable game. I don't have too much more to say about it. I would recommend checking it out. The third game that I beat is Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. This is the final Uncharted game on the list, don't worry. Not 4 of the 7 aren't Uncharted games. So yeah, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is the third game I beat this year, and it does hold up. It's still my favorite game that I've beat this year, to be honest with you. And I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 because it just does hold up in a big way. It's like the jump from Uncharted to Uncharted 2 is significant. Uncharted 2 is absolutely phenomenal. It just is. And yeah, I mean, it's almost a perfect game, I feel like. You know, I could give it a 10. I could 100% give it a 10, but I just think Uncharted 4 for me is the pinnacle. That's a 10. And Uncharted 2 is slightly off that and doesn't hold up obviously quite as well, because Uncharted 4, the gameplay to me is just a level above, and the story, the way they wrap up everything is absolutely perfect. But Uncharted 2, when it came out in 2009, I was in love, and I still am to this day, you know, having beat it for the 3rd time or the 4th time or whatever it may be. Absolutely love it. The characters are done in a fantastic way. The pacing of the story is utterly brilliant. Nathan Drake, kind of who he interacts with throughout the story, is brilliant. You got Lazarevich, who's just a phenomenal villain as well, and then the hunt at the end for El Dorado. But yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, and it was a pleasure to play through it again, to be honest. Like, you would think a game from 2009 would not hold up in the way that it does, but oh, it just absolutely does. So yeah, 9.5 for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Holds up to this day, and highly recommend you go back and play through it again. Now, fourth game I've beat this year is Resident Evil Requiem. So, yeah, I mean, another Resident Evil game in the series, and another great Resident Evil game in the series. You play as Leon Kennedy and Grace, and, you know, I feel like the two dynamic differences between the gameplay did add another element to the game that was really enjoyable. You play the horror kind of parts as Grace, and you get scared shitless, and you kind of have to run, and you can't fight. And then you do the Leon parts, and it's more like Resident Evil 4, where you can just go in and you can mess shit up as Leon. You know, you really can, and it's really fun. Both aspects of it for me were fun. Like, I want to get to the Leon parts so I can be badass and kick the fuck out of people, but also in the Grace parts, they do a great job of like terrifying you, and that's what these horror games are kind of all about at the same time, right? So yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, really good. You know, some of the boss fights as Leon are really, really fun, and the storyline throughout as well, Leon and Grace's stories interconnecting and kind of learning about Grace's childhood and how she came to be the way she is all done very well. And I'd probably give this game an 8.5 out of 10. It was really, really solid. I don't think it would be my game of the year. I think there's a couple of games that I've preferred, but it's definitely a solid contender, and I think overall a very good Resident Evil experience, and probably like by now the 10th Resident Evil game I've beat or something like that. I'll have to go through it. It's like I beat Resident Evil 2, the remake. I beat Resident Evil 3 remake. I beat Resident Evil 4, not the remake, but I didn't really like the remake as much somehow. I know that's a hot take. I beat Village, Resident Evil 8, now Resident Evil 9, so maybe 6. I think I beat some of the side ones as well. Was there a co-op one that I beat or something? I think I beat 7 or 8 Resident Evil games at least anyway. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a Resident Evil expert now. Not really, but there's still a few I need to play and beat, but overall a very enjoyable experience. And as I said, 8.5 out of 10 for me for Resident Evil Requiem. Now, number 5 on the list that I beat is Pokemon ZA Legends, the only Switch game on this entire list. I got a Switch 2 just to play this game, and I enjoyed it. It's nothing revolutionary or crazy, but it is kind of like, as a child, this game would have been absolutely incredible to me, right? And I still kind of had fun with it, learning all the new Pokemon as well, while still mixing in kind of a lot of the old Pokemon into my bag was quite fun. And I've kind of got into Pokemon a little bit more again because of it. Look at this. I got a guy, PokeVet, who has a Discord where he kind of sells Pokemon cards. He sent me out these cards. Shout out to him. And I opened them up on stream the other day, and it was kind of a fun time to have Pokemon cards. I have some of my old Pokemon cards in the drawer behind me as well, which are the Generation 1 Pokemon cards. So it was kind of cool to get back into the world of Pokemon. I don't think this game is amazing by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they could do a lot more with the Pokemon franchise, and I hope that they do a lot more with the Pokemon franchise going forward. But still, I had a good time with it, you know, and it was enjoyable. As I said, learning all the new Pokemon and kind of getting my bag and sorting it out and leveling up the Pokemon that I want to level up was a good time. And I definitely kind of at the end of it was still wanting to level up some of the other Pokemon that I didn't catch yet, and I don't know. So it was a good time. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I think there's more that could be done with it, but still an enjoyable time. 8 out of 10 for me with Pokemon ZA Legends, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Pokemon franchise next. Just, I hope they expand and kind of, you know, take a few risks with the Pokemon franchise. That would be my goal for it. Number 6 of the games that I've beaten 2026 is Death Stranding 2. So I finally got around to beating Death Stranding 2 about a month ago, and I mean, what a game, man. What a game. I think it took me about 45, 50 hours, something like that. But this game is incredible. It really does kind of evolve on Death Stranding 1 and makes the gameplay a lot more enjoyable. It just does all of the gameplay better. I don't know if I would say the story is quite as good, but gameplay is a much more enjoyable game to go through. than Death Stranding 1 was. Because I really loved the story in Death Stranding 1, but the gameplay to me was not quite as enjoyable. In this one, I had a much better time. And overall, I think things that they added into the game to make it easier to traverse really did make quite a difference. And being able to have the car and just like drive most of the places was pretty awesome. And the fact that people can build roads for you, and you can get roads half of the way sometimes, and you can take the bloody tram thing some of the way. I mean, overall, I do think this game is phenomenally well done, and the story really was not that I'm not saying the story was bad by any means by comparing it to Death Stranding 1, because I thought it was fucking awesome. Both of the stories are incredible, and this one was no different. Learning about Sam and BB and kind of, you know, going through the story with all the characters along the way, Raimi and, you know, Tomorrow, all of these awesome characters that come with you on the journey along the DHV Magellan, you know, it was absolutely awesome. Leah Seydoux does a fantastic job as well in this game. She's a great actress, and she does a great job, and kind of her and Sam's moments are phenomenal as well. So yeah, overall, I think this game is close to being the best game that I've beat this year, just after Uncharted 2. But I would give this a 9.25 out of 10. I know it's kind of splitting hairs to do 9.25 instead of 9.5 or 9, but I feel like I need that sometimes, you know, just to differentiate some games from others. 9.25 I think is a really good window for Death Stranding 2, for me at least. Yeah, phenomenally well made game, absolutely love it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well, all of those who played it. Let me know, out of the games that I've talked about, which ones you have played, which ones you haven't, which ones you're interested in, or some of the games that you did play that I didn't play, in the comments down below. Kind of give me a little insight into what your backlog is looking like. The last game that I beat it probably 2 weeks ago now, Pragmata. So this game is awesome as well. Really enjoyed it. A Capcom game, and it's about you, a guy who's stuck on space after his crew gets brutally murdered by AI, kind of dealing with a little AI girl who is trying to help him on his journey. And, you know, he was pure anti-AI at the start, so him kind of forming this relationship with Diana as they go through the game, and kind of, you know, it's just them two against the world, basically, against the space world that they're up against up there, and their kind of quest to get back to Earth, I think was it was really, really heartwarming in parts, and the game itself was really, really gamey and fun, you know, like it's just a pure video game, Pragmata. And the gameplay, the different guns that they had, the different way you could take on these robots was really, really well done. And I just ended up having a great time with it. Like, you know, the storyline, it's not like this amazing thing, but it's serviceable, where it's, as I said, heartwarming and fun. And then on top of that, to have the gameplay be as good as it is, it's just a really, really well-made video game. And I would also give this an 8.5 out of 10, along with Resident Evil Requiem. I think they were both great games. I think I would have this just above Resident Evil Requiem in the race for Game of the Year. I think I enjoyed this ever so slightly more. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this talk of the games I beat in 2026. I'm sure there'll be a lot more games in my backlog by the end of the year, but we're at the halfway point now. We're in June. I wanted to kind of just touch base and kind of give you guys a halfway look at what I've done this year and what I plan to do going forward, the games that I'm playing, the games that are in my backlog, that kind of stuff. And I think we went over it pretty well. So yeah, looking forward to getting into talking about quite a few more games in the future. If you'd like to see more videos like this where I discuss the games that I'm playing, the games that I beat, the games that are in my backlog, then drop a like. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely get to it. Maybe another one at the end of the year. We can talk about all the games that I beat in 2026 once we have a full and comprehensive list to add on to this one. So yeah, hopefully I'll be well into the double digits games beat by the time we get to the end of the year. Maybe even I can hit 20 games beat this year. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for all the support. Really appreciate it. Make sure to drop a big like, and it's the best way to let me know you enjoyed the content. I'll see you guys next time for more video game talk. I am also playing through quite a few games on the channel, so subscribe, and I'll see you next time.